The podcast that you're about to listen to does not care about your emotions, your hypersensitivity, or your political correctness. If you wish to continue, then
shut up and sit down.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for tuning in. You're listening to the Alpha 5 podcast. This episode is brought to you by Empanada Master. Check them out on Facebook and at their website at empanadamaster.com.
it's delicious.
Gentlemen, what's going on? I'm Frank, a.k.a. PJ, here with John,
Yo.
Fabian,
What's up?
and Ray.
Good evening.
We're ready to get political for y'all.
Oof.
Are y'all wound up? Are your
I'm
motors
wound.
turning?
I'm
Not
wound.
yet, but I will be.
I'm
It
windy,
depends.
wound.
What's the pets?
Wound?
Wait till we get started. talking.
I think it's wound.
Okay, wound. Yeah, I'm wound.
I mean, what would be the winded?
I don't know. I'm just looking for a plural. I don't know why.
No, I think you got it.
Ah,
So
Wound.
there's been a lot of temperatures rising during the most current debates, right?
Getting hot and
The Democratic race is getting a little intense. Finally,
Spicy.
Or the Democratic racist. Ah, you see what I did there? Republican Party.
okay. We
get it.
got candidates entering the race. We've got them starting to bicker finally back and forth a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Keep it going.
You want them to fight, Fabe?
You know what? It just looking at that last debate. I just find it just. I feel like if they really want to succeed in November, they're gonna have to unite, and they ain't doing that. They're just going at each other. It seems like it was just attacking Bloomberg, and they got another one tonight, which I'm curious to see. I don't even know what time it starts, but I'm gonna have to rewatch it again. But yeah, I think it's just pretty interesting how
It's kind of crazy.
it's
right?
dog eat dog right now amongst the candidates,
it's kinda
which
crazy.
you usually you kind of have to have that in the beginning because you want to be the number one to go against Trump. But I mean, it's
kinda
a
crazy,
little too
right?
much.
It's like I kind of remember before. It was like I think it was in 2016 when all the Republican Party members were doing the same fucking
Oh,
thing.
yeah.
When Ted Cruz's wife was called ugly, when all of this shit was going on. It's
Zodiac
amazing you don't have that kind of memory that goes back 4 years, but you should.
When
that's
the tables are turned,
right, and everybody was saying the
No.
Republicans need to what? Get Donald Trump out of here
Yep.
and unite the party.
Wow.
I know that. I'm completely aware. I'm completely aware of that, and I know. And that the funny part is that the person that they were hating on the entire time actually won, which is
What
actually
you're saying now. I guess my point is you think that they have to come together
Will
and
history
unite.
repeat itself?
That's not the case because the Republican Party didn't unite until their Lord and Savior got into office. Their
Their
master.
Lord and Savior.
I would not
All
even.
right, so
I would
that-
not
no,
even consider that. Come on.
That's not a fair statement.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
it is.
That's not a fair statement because they all are doing the same things. We were talking about that before this episode even went on.
It's not the same.
It's not the exact same. Fine, but you can't call him the Republicans' Lord and Savior when the Democrats are all rallying around each other, regardless of.
There's partisanship, and then there's again worshiping the altar, right? And when you see now, when
Democrats aren't going to worship the altar if they feel like it's not there.
they have never openly worshipped any altar. If a senator comes out, right, and says, I'm supposed to be a juror on a trial, but I'm telling you right now in public, I'm not going to be a fair juror. You're telling me that that's not worshiping at the altar of Donald Trump? That isn't.
No, it is, but I wonder if when Obama was in there, if roles were reversed and Obama was there, would Democrats have been doing the same thing?
A
Absolutely.
lot of Democrats were doing that towards Obama. He was not he was popular among the people, but I don't think he was so popular amongst all his constituents.
Well, he also wasn't faced with the kind of scrutiny that Trump has been under. I'm not even getting into justification or not. I'm not talking about
That's not true.
But I think if roles were reversed in the exact same situation,
They were.
I don't ever remember Obama being impeached.
I remember news sites and Fox News specifically coming at Obama for wearing a tan suit. It was literally, Google it right now.
I remember that.
But you're talking.
It's-
That's Fox News, which is Republican. I'm talking about Democrats.
No,
Would Democrats have attacked Obama if he was in the same exact situation as Trump is right now?
Nope.
I personally don't think so because it's party over principle.
Yeah.
I don't think so because there were Democrats that came out during the Clinton impeachment, and Clinton was a Democrat, and they came out and voted against him to be impeached.
To me, though,
he was impeached.
Yeah, but he wasn't removed. But my point is, you've never gotten that before. Where
to me, it sounds the exact same as how Republicans now are saying that they're not going because of party, that they truly feel that they're nothing to impeach him on. Like it's bullshit to me. Anyway, I'm just saying. To me, it's bullshit.
I mean, I don't know if it's bullshit, but what is not bullshit is like my original statement is worshiping at the altar of Donald Trump. He has them by the balls because he has a base, and that base also votes for these senators to get more terms. And if you fuck over Donald Trump, he will tell his base not to vote for you. He's already shown you that he has the influence to get the masses his base to do physically what he wants them to do. So if he says don't vote for this person, his base doesn't vote for that person. We've seen it. So these senators, right, are terrified of him. They don't want. You hear it all these leaks and stuff that come out of Washington that there's a baby in the White House. They can't rein him in. They don't really want him there, but they can't openly do that because this nigga watches the fucking TV all the time.
You think they're dumbfounded, or you think that these people are just sticking? They're just being loyal.
No, I think they're terrified
that
because when he was running, they did not. The entire Republican, they were terrified of him. The entire Republican. Let's pull up some clips from 2016 of Ted Cruz of what's the dude from Florida? There was all these Republicans.
The Bush?
No. Oh, I think it was Jeb Bush too, but it was another dude, Spanish dude. But anyway, I don't know all these motherfuckers.
Oh, Rubio.
There you go. That guy. They all came out against Trump. He's not fit to serve. He's a disgrace. All of this stuff. He's not a real. All of this stuff. And now all of a sudden you turn ship. Why? Re-election. It can't be clearer than day. So you can say that they're not. I've never seen any party react this way to a president before.
I don't think you were actually looking hard enough because every party, both sides do that all the time. They all rally against you. How many people I heard say they would, never Hillary, never Hillary, never Hillary because of who she was? And these are Democrats and liberals on the left side. Mm-hmm. Facebook posts all the time. Nah, we're feeling the burn. Hillary's trying to push Bernie out. We're never going to vote for this dude. I mean, vote for her. She's horrible, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Feel the burn is not really a great slogan.
So I heard all this shit, right? And then the second she got the nomination, yeah, well, I just have to go with the party, blah, blah, blah. We can't have Donald Trump in office. We got to stick together, blah, blah, blah.
Bernie said
and we got to rally for Hillary. And I'm sorry, yeah, Bernie didn't get the nomination, even though he should have. I still got to go. Yeah, we're still going to go Hillary. So you do this. They both do it, and I saw that. I witnessed that. And a lot of our same friends who are very liberal said did the same shit.
There's a difference between voting partisan to your party, and there's another difference saying going with this guy like. The fact that there's 430 bills sitting on Mitch McConnell's desk and he's not signing any of them. He's literally called himself the Grim Reaper, right? Because everything that goes from the House to the Senate dies, right? Because the House is run by a Democrat. He said this. So there's always been bipartisanship. But what you see now, the way they react, though, again, if a tweet comes out, their whole mood changes. They've doubled back on things that they've said before. To come to now, Ted Cruz is fucking this guy's best friend. He called your wife ugly, fam. He called your wife ugly. I'm gonna ask the fellas in the room. A dude call your wife ugly, you gonna be friends with him? Man to man, fuck a politic.
Nah.
So where are we? So don't say that there aren't these guys. Not all of them do that, because I'm sure if Obama was out here calling people, wives and husbands, ugly and shit like that, they wouldn't have favor. It was not the same.
I don't know. We're looking at it in retrospect. We're looking at it in hypothetics. If that happened, I mean,
yeah.
All we know is that we've seen that partisanship on both sides. Senators that were against a certain candidate. Yeah, I didn't really want him to be my party's freaking candidate. But you know what? It is what it is. They do that on both sides because the ultimate goal is to beat the other side. So they'll fall in line. You might say, hey, maybe one party might fall in line more than the other. Okay. But they both do it.
I'm not too familiar, so maybe one of y'all can answer this for me. Has there ever been a president who had a vice of the opposing party?
No.
I don't think so.
That's not how that works.
No.
Why?
Because when you run, you have to run with somebody of your party to be on the Democratic.
You have
ticket.
to?
You have to be on the Democratic ticket. You have to be a Democrat. Mike Bloomberg is not a Democrat.
I think you could do an independent.
Mike Bloomberg is not a Democrat.
He's independent. Well, he was initially a Republican, right?
He was initially a Republican. His policies tell you that he's Republican, right? I mean, the things that he says out his mouth aren't really super liberal, you know what I mean? So, or progressive. It's only now that
he just joined the Democratic Party to run for president.
Right, because you don't run against an incumbent president.
Right.
Period.
In the same party.
Right.
Yeah.
And so he had, and that's why they were destroying him on that debate stage, because it's unfair that he put none of the work in, but he just paid his way. That's literally what the problem is with this country.
The thing is, isn't it all about how much money you can raise to get to the next level anyway? Not even about what policies you have, because of the amount of attention that you can
The thing
garner.
is, the money raised represents supposedly the people. When you don't receive money, okay, it's good. You can pay your own way, so that's good. Nobody has to donate. But whose interests are you serving other than yours if nobody else is donating to you?
Look,
not to say that there's no people donating to him, but he said that he don't want nobody money.
Apparently, there's nothing in the U.S. Constitution, particularly the 12th Amendment, that prevents a Republican from choosing a Democratic running mate or a Democrat from choosing a Green Party politician, vice versa, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, it's just not
yeah,
going to
that's
happen.
in the 12th Amendment?
Apparently, this is according to thoughtcode.com. Yeah, you can choose an opposing party candidate.
I mean, maybe you can. You'll never see it.
Yeah.
But
It's not, especially nowadays. It's the Bloods and the Crips. Man.
That kind of feeds to my previous point, though, about how it's about party,
Right, man.
not policy.
Yeah.
How it's when these votes are cast within our elected forms of government, it's party driven. Now, it's not about what's necessarily best for the people. It's who's gonna agree with us and this side.
Right.
Right.
Well, you always vote in your best interests.
Yeah, that's the whole point of it.
Right.
They're a party of your interests.
But these people that we're putting into office are voting on their best interests, not the interests of us, the peons, for lack of a better way of saying it. They're voting on their best interests. That's why you have all of these Republicans siding with Trump, because the ones who have the power in the Republican Party will destroy careers, because we allow career politicians.
Yeah.
Right? So
Well,
what the alternative should be, right, is having one from each side, where you're getting actual bipartisanship to represent this country.
that's not gonna work either, because the vice president has absolutely no juice.
Yeah,
he's the lap dog. He would be literally just to shut the other side up. Like,
That sounds like
that's why you have.
It's not really effective to your interest.
right, because it's about pushing an agenda.
Everybody has an agenda to push.
Right, but my point is that these people that we put in office are supposed to push the agenda and fight for an agenda that is best for the people that they are supposed to represent.
So why don't they? Let's get into why don't they.
Well,
the reason why they don't is because they're allowed to take money from lobbyists.
Yes.
Period.
So
Yes.
then
The reason why we don't have stricter gun laws in this country, the reason why we don't have this and that is because the NRA, because this lobbyist group, that lobbyist, energy, coal companies, oil companies, they pay these politicians to pass laws that benefit them. The Republicans are all about deregulation, right? That's all you hear about from Republicans. Deregulate, deregulate, deregulate.
Yep.
Why? Because their donors are these oil companies, are these energy companies that need the deregulation to continue to make their money fuck the environment, right? That's why you had a fucking oil pipeline that bust. It broke.
Yeah, but you just
the ones that they was protesting, that they said it was going to break before they built it. They built it anyway. It broke. Now there's oil everywhere.
Yeah, no, but that's just looking at one part of it. I mean, we look at deregulation. They look at, it's not just deregulation. They look at just less government in our lives, not just on a business level, but on a personal level. Like it's let me make my own money, less taxes, Get out of my life. Let me run it my life the way I want to run it with less government oversight. That's pretty much the core.
For the party that doesn't like abortion. That is hilarious.
No, because the same party is actually looking at
But
the
you
baby
as
as something else.
You can't have
Exactly, the personal freedom of the child, because looking at it as a life. That's why they think that way.
It's funny.
So they just want less government intervention in our lives, and that's because when you have too much. I mean, we've all looked throughout history. You start losing control as people. So
some people say that's less oversight. So if let's say we had regulations before, but if there's nobody watching, like who you ever heard the phrase "who polices the police"?
Right. Yeah. That's what I was just about to.
Go ahead, Ray.
That's exactly what I was going to start talking about. Is like, I know we want that not as much oversight, but what about when these corporations or companies are not doing things in the benefit of the people? Who's going to be overwatching them and providing that oversight to police them? And I think that's what is important. Not saying that we need that complete. It's our freedoms are extremely important. I'm not saying that the government should remove any of those, but they should be able to provide that overwatch for the protection of our freedoms and our civil liberties. And I think in regards to just in the aspect of these oil companies, using them as an example, is the pollution aspect and the protection of the environment. That's what the EPA is supposed to be for, right?
And the EPA got sent to hell once this guy got in office. Like he pretty much said, "Fuck the EPA."
No, you should, but you should have a certain balance. It's not saying they shouldn't have none at all.
But there's
altogether,
no balance. He pretty much decimated the budget for the EPA.
No, because I'm talking about just in general. Like when you have these different. See, what happens is that if you can't stand a corporation or you're pissed off about a corporation, there's a difference between having a central entity, being the government, in control of things, right, and oversight. And then everybody's crying, about capitalism, stuff like that, and how the corporations run everything. The difference between the government controlling shit and as you say, the corporations, which you're afraid of eventually controlling shit, or they already are, is that you have a say in whether or not you want to support that corporation. It's all based upon money, right? And if nobody started buying their product and they protest the share, the stock price is going to go down the tubes. You can literally destroy that company. Okay. What can you do when it comes to what can you do with the government? Once you give them so much power, you still got to pay your taxes no matter what. They're in control.
How do you
can't do anything.
Con Ed? I'm just curious. If I'm fed up with my electric company, how do I protest them in my area?
Rallies.
No, because here's the difference is that Con Ed is not an actual supplier of electricity anyway.
That's not what I'm asking you.
So you can go with another company. You can get your price for your electric at a different company.
Yeah, but in one where else are you? Orange and Rockland is in the area here, right? That's who runs. Everybody bills say the same shit around here. It all says Orange and Rockland. I don't know.
Well, what Fabian's arguing is that your actual provider, Orange and Rockland is the
UPS for gas and electricity.
Right.
That's exactly what they're.
They're the one that deliver
They're
it.
the middleman, but your actual provider is a completely different company.
Where the price where the biggest part of your bill comes from, the actual price of the electricity, you can choose
who
that.
you get it from.
Yeah.
I know that.
Right.
Yeah. But even let's say, okay, forget that. My cable company, I live here. I am only allowed to have Optimum. I'd have to get satellite if I wanted something different. As far as normal cable, how do I protest them? I just don't have TV, right? I'm just going to be asked out. So there's a certain. My point is, you saying that if you can just protest companies and then they'll lose money. That's not how that works, because some companies have so much control over the things that you need in life that you ain't no protesting them.
I mean, okay, so you're talking about maybe cable, maybe electric, depending on what state you're in.
I thought more about it.
But what you're talking about, food, our clothes that we wear, Nike, people protest Nike and stuff like that. Things, yeah. So those things, those other things that we consume, that we complain about, that this corporation's is shit. Amazon, the rich biz, blah blah blah. It's a garbage company. Meanwhile, we all freaking decide to buy our shit from them.
I'm sure there is, but just name me one corporation that folded because people boycotted it.
Well, you haven't actually. No, not everybody.
These corporations won't let that happen though. At the same time.
Well, I'm just saying.
Because if enough people boycott, they'll make a change.
At least you have a choice. You have a chance to stand up against something and actually have a say.
It's technically a chance, but you don't. My point is, that's not going to make a difference. You, as a little person, you can protest. You think everybody was mad when Kaepernick signed with Nike and everybody started burning their shit. Are you dumb? You think they give a fuck about your nothing, your $50 sneakers, my nigga? what are you doing? It's so they can't. The change that
they're
people
probably
want.
saying thank you because they know at some point your ass is gonna go buy another pair.
Yeah.
They
Well, no.
advertise for them.
Well, that's shame on us for not doing
Nah,
it.
but if I had a government there that could actually regulate something and put somebody in jail, a CEO in jail, somebody in jail for doing the wrong thing, now my protest and my displeasure can actually, now you can do something, because me just saying no, don't buy that, that doesn't do anything. It doesn't change anything.
No, it actually could change to the point where it actually gets them to act right, because they're going to be losing money. Nobody's saying you're going to actually bankrupt the company, but if they lose a lot and the stockholders get pissed off, boom, that CEO is gone. Bye-bye. Whatever you're doing is fucked up. Our stock prices are going down. We got to change our outlook. Our company's is messed up because of you. We got to do something here. So it actually forces their hand, not necessarily meaning that they can actually, you're going to bankrupt them. You know what I mean? But it'll put enough pressure on them to actually do something. We can try and do the same when you give the government too much power. But then again, they got all the guns. They got all the freaking. Well, they wanted to have all the guns eventually if the left has their way. They have all the power. They have the complete dominance over you physically, and in your pocket, especially with taxes, and be like, listen, what we say goes. I mean, you could protest, but guess what? We have all the power. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
That's not reading memes, man. If the left doesn't want to take your guns. We had this discussion. You have dummies out there that think that everybody should just go to the store.
Listen, I have seen. No. A lot of people on the left believes it should be regulated. Yes, I would say the majority of them thinks it should just be more regulated because of a couple kids fucking abusing their right to freaking bear arms.
Just common sense.
Doing some fucked up shit. However, there's a lot of people on the left that say no, nobody should have weapons besides the police and the military. We don't need it. We need to be respect each other.
There's a lot of people on the right that says no. There should be no. No.
So I'm saying no. I'm just going against your argument. Exactly, what you're saying is that there should be no guns, because there are people that believe that we should have no.
When you make a statement like the left wants this, like you're talking about the extreme, because I could easily come back and say the right wants this, but we're not talking about that. We're not talking about general consensus of the majority of that party. The majority of the left does not want to take your guns.
You just said that the left doesn't want to take. Nobody wants to take your guns. I'm saying, well, there are people that do. They want people that want to overhaul the Second Amendment.
So simple. That was a general blanket statement. So, you're talking about it. That's like the blacks.
Because generally the majority of people who believe that we should not have the Second Amendment that want to go to that extreme are on the left.
Like I want you to show me one person running for president.
No, I'm talking about just people in general. Which
wants to take your gun. I don't
know who actually put those people in office that might want to support that idea.
Somebody that's running for president is not going to come out and say that.
Just like they're not going to say let's bring back slavery, right?
Just like they're going to say.
My point is that's because they're not trying to do it.
Well, no, I'm just saying in your statement, show me one candidate who's going to say that realistically there's not anybody, because
Better O'Rourke said it. He was stupid and he dropped out.
Oh yeah, he did say that.
Yeah, and he had to drop out.
All right, so that proves my point. Is it like you're fucking yourself?
Well, that shows you more. That shows you that.
Maybe
if he felt, I don't mean to cut you off, but if he felt that he had to do that because of that statement, that means it's more than just Republicans that got pissed. Because he's a Democrat.
Right.
Dems got pissed, so that means the Dems aren't trying to take the guns.
Yeah. He was trying. I think he was trying to appeal to a certain audience by saying that, and he thought that a lot of Democratic people felt that way too.
And he was wrong. And here's the thing: that idea probably came a little bit too early, because back in the day, I mean, even to recently, we just saw that. Democrats and Republicans both agreed that we should have a Second Amendment because, hey, one, that's how we were founded. Two, it protects all of us. It's not just it's not a red or blue thing. It's a right as an American citizen. It shouldn't be partisan at all, and that's the problem. It's gotten mixed into a partisan view now. Now this side is fighting for our right in the Bill of Rights, and the other one is like, hey, maybe we should dilute it a little bit because of a couple kids abusing it. So now
laws should reflect.
And so
the world that you live in.
No.
So laws
kids abusing it though.
Like,
no.
You have a Second Amendment, and so soldiers don't run up in your house. That's why you have it. Like, and we just keep it. Like that's why it happened. This is like saying, look at capitalism. American capitalism was built off of free labor, and now we're acting like capitalism is the best thing. But hey, you had a fucking head start because you had free labor. So it's the same. It's the same thing. Like, don't confuse where we are now where it came from. You know what I'm saying? Like where it came from, the Second Amendment was not so you can walk around and have the freedom to bear arms. Like, no, yes, they wanted us to protect ourselves, but it wasn't with the intent that y'all have, where now these gun companies get to buy the government.
The sanctity of the Second Amendment isn't what it was when it was created. So I mean, that can't be ignored.
Go ahead, bro.
So
in a lot of
this
it.
is getting back to what brought us to this conversation were the lobbyists and how it is that the lobbyists have a lot of influence in who is able to, present their arguments at these debates. And Bloomberg being able to buy his own way there and basically make a fool out of himself. So what is it that you guys think about these Democratic
You think
candidates?
Bloomberg made a fool of himself, or has been making a fool of himself?
Not until the first debate that they had.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't saying anything, but yeah, he did. What I think of the candidates, I think that I don't like Buttigieg. He's a creep to me. It just doesn't seem like an honest guy.
It's something about the way he speaks.
Yeah, well, that's for you. It's just something about him. I just feel like he's not an honest person. I like Amy Klobuchar, but she's going to get crushed because she's just in a field where they're rock stars and polarizing people, and she's just not going to survive. Elizabeth Warren, I like. Mike Bloomberg, he's got to get out of here. Just get him the fuck out of here. Like,
What about Steyer?
I didn't see him. They keep putting this guy on lists of things. I have
He's
yet
not.
to
Yeah,
see
he's not. He
this
wasn't
guy.
on the debate stage.
He's been on a bunch of.
He wasn't
a
on- he
bunch of
wasn't-
debates.
the
He
last
on
one.
the last one. He
Right.
wasn't on the last
Yeah,
one.
that's what I'm saying.
He
The
was
last
on,
one I saw.
I think
It was-
most of the ones before the last one.
I
He's
haven't
on the
seen him,
current
so
one.
I don't have a thought on him because I haven't seen him. But
I've just seen his commercials.
but Bernie is my guy as far as the front runner right now for the debates and stuff like that. He's just been kicking ass because he's good at it.
Let me ask you a question.
Go for it.
Ooh, okay.
Wait. But,
I'm here for the questions.
Fabian ready to fight.
You know what?
I love political conversation with Fabian.
Because I'll never forget what John said, and we could probably touch on that. That might be another part. That might have to be an episode in itself, but I'll never forget it. Back when Obama was running, I'm like, "What's the reason why you're voting for Obama?"
You goddamn right.
And no effort.
I
no,
say it again.
You know,
He's black.
Yeah, but you didn't say that at first. You were just like, "Yeah, I don't know," and just McCain is too old. Okay, but Bernie's your man right now.
Okay, that was code for that nigga's black. And I'm putting a black.
So
on
all right, so now
I would never-
I meant
I
to
would
log
never
that
talk
shit
about
because
the
now
A5.
you're about Bernie. But
Yeah,
okay,
I probably just said that shit. It had nothing to do with that shit. I'm putting
Exactly.
I'm putting that nigga in office. It ain't got nothing to do with Bernie.
So,
All right, go, Pete, sorry.
here's my question:
Uh-huh.
if there was another Republican candidate going against Trump, right? And let's say that that guy won. Trump gets to run regardless, correct?
People, you could run against him if you wanted to, but people just don't do that.
Right,
You don't
but
run
I'm,
against an
but,
incumbent.
but I'm. There can only be one at the end, though.
From each party, yeah.
Right, but what I'm saying is the incumbent doesn't get to run regardless. He has to still win his party.
No, if somebody comes in and primaries him, yeah, he could lose that shit.
No, that's what I'm saying. But that's what I'm saying. But then at the end, when it comes down to choosing, it's whoever wins that primary,
Right.
and the Democratic candidate.
Right.
Correct. Okay. So let's say you take Trump out of the equation, right? He gets challenged and he loses miraculously. Would you give a Republican candidate a chance?
What do you mean a chance?
Like, would you
That means
listen
no.
to their policies and
I'll give him the same chance I gave Bush 1 and 2. I don't have a choice. What do you mean? I mean,
do
But,
have a
but I
would
all
I
right.
fuck with him?
You're
It depends on the
saying-
policy.
You're saying that you would. You're saying that you would hear them out, right? Would you hear them
It
out?
would depend on the
Absolutely.
policy.
But you're also part of the Reform Party, so
Right.
you're different.
But the reason
that makes so much sense about you, though. You're always in the middle. You always leave.
Well, I do my best to
Shit.
not be to not align myself by a party, but more by my values, so that I can make a decision wisely. I don't believe that I need to vote for somebody just because they're Republican, and I don't believe that I need to vote for somebody just because they're Democrat.
I agree with you, sir.
I think it's important for us to evaluate who's running, what it is that they stand for, and how it is that we believe that they're going to run office, not just because they're blue or red.
It's funny because I think so many people feel like they have to choose one side or another, and I agree with you.
And by the way, I wish other smaller parties were given a better chance.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't think that it should be based on the amount of money that you can raise, but on the policies and that you
vote
represent
Bernie.
and the values that you represent.
It speaks a
Vote
lot
for
to
Bernie because he's trying to stop lobbyists from being able to spend money
So-
on on that shit. So
Fabian, are you actually giving any of the Democrats a chance,
Yeah,
or
right.
what? Once they figure their shit out as to who's going to be the primary, are you actually going to give that person a chance?
You know who I did like actually? I'm not sure about
Tulsi
giving her a
Gabbard?
chance because Tulsi Gabbard.
course.
I didn't
Yeah,
really.
alright.
I didn't. But
You're giving.
that makes
But,
sense.
You're giving us somebody who realistically doesn't have a chance. What I'm
She's a
saying
fucking
is,
Republican shit, like in Democrat clothing. Like, are you kidding me?
what happened? Okay. All
right.
right.
so if Bernie wins, right, and it's Bernie and Trump, are you gonna vote on the issues or on the party?
The issues. It's always been about the issues.
It just so happens that it aligns with the party.
Yeah, but see that, and this is where people get confused. See, the
Just
party,
so happens.
the party is just a name. If you're pro Second Amendment, which it shouldn't be, pro Second Amendment should be for everybody, but that's just the way it's going nowadays. It's a left or right issue, unfortunately. You know, if you're about less government.
He answered your question
no.
that he's voting for Trump again.
Now check. No,
Doesn't matter
you're
what
looking at me like
happens.
weird. So what I'm saying is like if
Because
you have a certain you have a
you're
certain,
giving me the party spiel.
No, I'm not giving the party spiel. If Democrats all started believing that,
But-
call me a Democrat.
All right.
Call me a Democrat.
Here's the
But
thing, though.
Their platform does not
The
match.
conversation came up about gun control, right, and gun
Mm-hmm.
reform and whatnot, right? So if Trump goes, you know what? This is one of the issues. You know what? Anybody can get a gun. He signs a bill, whatever the fuck he's got to do. There's no checks,
regulation, yeah.
no regulation for gun control. But Bernie's stance is, you know what? We just want to make that shit a little bit tighter. I'm just going to use one.
That's an example. You can
one
make a decision
example,
off of that.
Right. So you believe in what? No gun control, limited gun control. Like, are you going to vote because Trump's the Republican, or are you going to vote for Bernie because you don't necessarily agree with a lot of control, but you think no control is worse? Like, you got to decide between the issues.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just go, hey, no, I'm pro-gun, so I'm voting Republican.
No. It's see when you look at something like that, it's almost like what do the majority of your stances lie? Because there's a lot of politicians, there's a lot of Republicans that I disagree with a lot of the
understand that, but
I'm
policies.
asking you
giving
a
you
very
that
specific-
one issue. That one issue. I'm not talking about the
It's
majority.
hypothetical.
This is what this is the only issue they're running on in this moment.
Hypothetical.
But Trump's the Republican.
Says
Bernie's
everybody gets
So
Bernie's
you're
the
saying
Democrat.
Trump's saying everybody gets a gun.
Trump's saying no regulation. Bernie's saying
That's pretty
strict
much-
regulation.
Well, that's pretty much going on almost the party line. If you said the opposite, then I would have to be like, okay, I'm going for Bernie then. If it was the opposite, if Bernie was like, okay, we
Republicans
shouldn't have
really
any
want
regulation.
they want no
Right.
gun control.
No,
No,
At all?
No, there's a lot of Republicans that do. And just like you have a lot of Democrats that
Wait.
do believe in gun control and
So-
some that actually think it should be gone completely.
So you
So
think,
it depends.
So you think you would go based on thinking that, hey, you agree with no gun control more than you agree with stricter gun control.
Yes.
I really wasn't expecting that to go that way.
Yeah.
I was, because no matter what you say,
Shall not be infringed. That's what
I'm not. You were raised in a Republican household. Like your pops is the Republican in my mind. Like when I think Republican, your father pops into my head. That's not no bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the environment you was raised in. So no matter what you say, whether I don't know, think about it, depends. To me, you're
No,
going to
it-
rock with your party.
no.
I wasn't raised like that.
Well, it depends because
I
there's a
feel
lot
like
of
you
stuff
are
that we
too a
see
little bit,
differently.
My parents are not. My parents are Christian, conservative Republicans.
Yeah, but your stance on social issues and stuff
It's
like
totally
that.
the opposite of my parents.
No,
What I mean is, I feel like you are maybe not as closely tied to a party as Fabian is, but I believe you're strongly tied to a party.
I have
and even if a Republican candidate came up, that sided a little bit more with you, I think that they would still have a harder road, to travel to win your vote.
Here's what you got to do. See, for me, I don't have no loyalty. No, fuck blue too, because that history book made me learn a lot about the Democratic Party, and the Republicans really they used to be the good guys. Somewhere along the line, this shit changed, but they used to be the good guys, right?
Who?
The Republican
Republicans.
Party.
Yeah.
They used to be the good guys, right? So I don't have a lawyer. Democrats is out here doing bullshit too. But again, when I see the Republican Party are the ones that implement certain laws, they're the ones that on the outward don't look like they're as inclusive for somebody like me, because I'm a millennial. I grew up differently than my parents grew up. That's why I argue with my parents all the time. Even my older brother, Bobby voted for Trump. I mean, I'm telling you.
Oh, I didn't know.
Everybody under Bobby didn't vote for Trump. Everybody Bobby and up voted for Trump. And that tells me a lot it's about your age and what you think of the world. And the world that my parents raised me in, or they prepared me for, does not exist. That's not the world no more. I'm not gonna sit here. I wasn't raised to think that abortion is okay. I think abortion is okay. I also think guns are okay. I personally don't like them because I don't like them, but I want Fabian to have one. If Fabian and Ray are comfortable owning a gun, using a gun, I want them to have it, but I also don't want them to have it if they fucking crazy. I don't really have a tie to a political party. I have a tie to specific ideals. So if you were to ask me that same question about who want more gun control, if it was the opposite and Bernie wanted everybody to have a gun and Trump said, I want strict gun control, I'm going with Trump. Just because of what my idea
exactly, and I said I have to go the opposite because I got to go with the values.
But when you talk
with you, I don't know if I believe that.
Hey, listen, I'm
It's
telling
a
you right
little
now,
bit different.
because those are my
you
values.
are establishment
No,
Republican.
Those are just the names. Like with your values align with a certain party for the most part. Now the names could just flop, but the party values are still there.
There's times from you and from many people that I feel like when it comes to deciding what way you're going, like some candidates, Trump is really a very good barometer of that. I think that he said some crazy shit. I don't think anybody can deny that, right? Somehow, though, there are a lot of Republicans that come running to this guy's defense about stuff that really don't necessarily equate. You know what? And that's where we start running into problems. When it's party over principle, it's a problem.
Well, that's where my, at the altar of Trump thing came in, because at certain points, I can ask you the most basic of when he was running for president, he did the whole thing about the disabled guy. Like, there are people that don't think that was wrong. Like, Republican, dude, that was clearly something he's not a good guy. No, but he tells it how it is, and he's gonna drain the swamp. He didn't drain the swamp. He didn't build the wall. He didn't do shit but fucking lower taxes for rich. Like, I just feel like at a certain point you get so sucked into your party and you're so afraid of losing. And I think that the only reason we have Trump is because we have Obama and the motherfuckers who was mad that he was there. Complaining about, like, your dad was complaining about him for 8 years. I have the memes to prove it, right? That it was, I'm going to fix these motherfuckers now. Watch this. I'm going to put him in office. That's why nobody said that they was voting for Trump. Nobody came out and said this before they voted for him. They all said they was voting for somebody else.
Realistically, if you look at...
That was Ben Carson before.
If you look at most of the stuff that came out on, it's almost like Trump was trying to lose the election. It's almost how it came out. Like he was trying to lose the nomination. I
believe he was, because
he said some outlandish ass shit. The whole grab him by the pussy stuff. The walking onto the middle of Times Square, shoot somebody and get away with it. Like he wasn't presidential,
and maybe because he wasn't presidential, it made some people like him. And that was some type of likability.
I can see that.
I can see that also.
By appealing to people that speak that way.
But I think he appealed more to the racist and xenophobia of the country.
But at the same time, if you look at hardcore political people, right, people like Fabian's father who follow the political climate and the politicians who get behind and support, right, a lot of candidates. There were people, regardless of what he said, because of his party supporting him. You know what I mean? And that's there wasn't enough coming out condemning the stuff that he said publicly. And if they did, it was brief. It was like, oh, that's not.
Well, they
that's
did
not
when
nice.
he was. They
But-
did when he was running. Once he won, it all stopped because Ted Cruz was going back at Trump on the campaign trail. Once he won, and he realized, and then they realized that base that he has,
It was a fall in line situation.
absolutely, because if you lose Trump, you're never going to get reelected.
But then the funny part is then you look at the Democratic side though, and at one of the elections, Bernie openly came out if when he was being attacked about saying a woman couldn't win the presidency, right? He came out. Oh, if any one of these candidates was to get the nomination, I hope they don't because I want it. But if they do, I will do everything in my power to get them to support.
But you
them
have
and
to
get them
understand
elected.
why that is, though. It's specifically for him alone. You've never seen that in any election ever, where no matter what Democrats are, I don't care who win, it ain't gonna be him. It's him.
No, that's happened at every election.
It's never happened.
That's happened at every election. What happens as a candidate drops out? They endorse another. And then when that candidate drops out, they endorse another. And it's this domino effect.
They endorse another, but not all of them endorse the same person.
I understand that, but at the end of it, when there's only one, yes, they do. They all will endorse that one person.
Well, understand why they're doing
because
this time.
Because of the party.
No, this time specifically, it's not because of the party. It's because of him.
No, how can you say no? It's always
because they hate him with every fiber in their bodies.
But
if you hate somebody so much that you're willing to, they hate Bloomberg. That's why they got him the fuck up out of here during that debate. They don't want him here. So that's when you see people galvanizing. They hate Trump so much that it doesn't matter. Just like Mitch McConnell and them love Trump so much that they can come out and say they're not going to be a fair juror. It's the same thing.
Can I put this out there as food for thought?
Go ahead.
So if Bloomberg is
theoretically
another Trump, right?
They just don't like him. Okay.
I'm speaking hypotheticals here. If he's considered like another Trump, just on the Democratic ticket, right? Couldn't he be then seen as a threat both to their cause, but also to their candidacy for president? Because he would then have the opportunity to, in an easier sense, because he's viewed like a Trump, to steal some of the votes that normally would go to Trump.
In theory, but Democrat voters and Republican voters are two different types of people. They're different types of.
So if Bloomberg has the ability to steal Republican votes, and also get Democratic votes,
he won't. That's why.
But I'm speaking hypotheticals here. I'm speaking hypotheticals.
Okay.
Because to me, they could not wait to attack him. Granted, I understand you're saying that they hate him, but they were so hungry to get, and he was unprepared.
You have to understand why.
Because I don't even think he expected to get the focus
he didn't spend,
that he got.
But I think you're trying to make this there is a reason why they did that specifically to him. He came into the campaign trail super late. He paid more money than any of them have just to get on the stage.
By far, yes.
It's not fair. And since let's say
I don't understand that aspect.
Just let me finish. Let's say we play a whole basketball season, and we are the best team in the league. Then the other team just say, you know what? I don't want to play the games. I just want to pay my way into the finals. And then he beats us. And then that team beats us. That's fair. You ain't gonna like it. So this is what you're saying.
The rules of engagement are set in these, correct? The rules of engagement are set. He has the ability to support himself through this, right? That's not his fault. So the talk about that he paid to get involved, that's his prerogative.
They don't have to like it. You're right, it is. But if they decide that I don't like that shit, you're expected. Why does it have to be fair? Like, what are you talking about?
Exactly.
All right.
You just said it has to be fair.
Yeah, but
what I'm saying is that that's what they're crying about.
They're not crying about it.
That's exactly what they're doing. They're crying that there's a billionaire paying his way to get onto the stage. Because he has that ability. So that's what they're pissed off about.
Okay, but that's not them. They don't like it. You don't see nobody really physically coming out and saying it. They say it.
Yeah, they did. They said it right on stage.
But they don't mention that in the debate. They go after the topics in the debate, and that's how you get him the fuck out of here. So yeah, they
Nope.
might not like it.
I
No,
don't
they
know.
didn't. I heard
thought
it.
went
They
after
attacked him
him.
directly. Oh, now we got a billionaire here on stage. Da, da, da,
Yes,
da.
but
Yeah,
you-
so they called him out on that
But
alone.
you also, if you watched it, there was an hour and change. And
Yeah.
they checked him on the stop and frisk. They checked him on all of the non-disclosure agreements that he
Yep.
made all these
Yeah.
women
Yeah.
sign.
Yep.
And Elizabeth Warren said if they're free to say something, let them say it. He would not. They don't want him there. He's not a Democrat. Okay,
He said that
doesn't
he would
run-
release them. He said that he would release
No, he
them.
did
No,
not.
no, he didn't.
He said he would release his taxes after the thousands and thousands of pages. I watched the whole thing. He has non-disclosure agreements against women that are sued him for sexual misconduct in his workplaces. All of them have non-disclosure agreements. They can't speak on it. So now what he's saying is, we signed an agreement, so just respect the agreement. But Elizabeth Warren is like, if they want to be free, you should let them free. No, they signed an agreement. So this is all the shit. They attack his politics.
Yeah.
He said it would be best. it's in
Bloomberg's
both
agreed
best
to
interests.
release the non-disclosures.
That was during the debate.
No.
I don't know if it was during the debate, but it was 4 days. This is
yeah.
NBCNews.com.
So you
4
pushed.
days ago.
All right. So he switched it up. So you pushed him because on stage he said he would not do that. So now at that point you see why they wouldn't like this guy, a guy who doesn't represent the party. He's not. If you look at his voting record, if you look at anything that he's ever done in his past, his mayoral past, he's not a Democrat. I would be pissed off too. That we spent all of this time campaigning, doing all of this, and you just get not just because of your money, or it's because of your money, but you're not fit to be here. So I'm getting you the fuck out of here. It's this
Apparently-
politics now. You can make a lot of comparisons, but it's not the
Bloomberg
same.
LP has identified 3 NDAs signed in the past 30 plus years, and he's agreed that if the women want to come forward, that they'll be granted release.
That's a Bloomberg company that you just mentioned.
I know.
that did
It's, I mean,
that.
Bloomberg LP. I would think. I'm just
Yeah,
saying
so
that.
Elizabeth Warren said there was 11 or 12, and I'm going to believe her over Bloomberg. Bloomberg's website reporting on Bloomberg's NDAs. Sorry.
Anyways, I don't know.
All I can do is tell you what I'm seeing here.
I know. I ain't judging you. I'm just saying this.
I felt attacked.
Nah, he good, bro. I don't know, man. It's a lot of shit that be right in front of our face, and we'll come up like you were saying. Like people will defend anything. 46. People will defend anything, just like on party lines. I wouldn't defend a Democrat just to defend a Democrat.
I also feel like we the people need to better educate ourselves on the democratic process and the policies and getting certain people into office, because it's not only about every 4 years voting for the president. It's about the smaller elections and the state elections, the senators, the congressmen, congresswomen, the mayors, the governors, all those things. And people educate yourselves on who's going to be running for office, whether local or state or federal, because it's important. These are the people that we're voting in. Don't also just let these lobbyists be the ones that influence them. You know, a lot of grassroots have been formed to support other politicians to get into office. So we, the people, have a lot more power than we think.
Just real quick, don't think, like, going back to the lobbyist things, don't think that these people don't pay, that they don't also donate to news corporations and stuff. Don't think the NRA doesn't pay Fox News. And when Fox News goes on TV and says they're trying to take our guns, that the NRA didn't.
Yeah, you know it's very funny. It feels like everybody in any when you hear lobby group, what do you think of? First one that comes to mind.
Oh, I think of the NRA as
Okay,
the
what do you
first.
think?
Because
That's
they're
the
the
first
biggest
one,
ones.
probably.
I don't know.
Hundreds, all right? And there's a lot of them pushing left and right wing agendas. But for some reason, when we think of lobbyist groups, you only think, okay, the NRA. But believe it or not,
No, I
just
think
saying
of Big Pharma.
but nobody else talks about
Usually-
that. Everybody just talks about the
No,
NRA. And
I
Big
hear
Pharma are
Big
the biggest
Pharma and
contributors.
NRA.
I hear those. I hear Big
are the
Pharma
big
as
ones.
much
Those are
as
the
I hear.
ones.
Those are the two biggest ones I hear. I don't even know.
And you know what's
what
funny?
other-
I find it so funny how we like to demonize the NRA, but the NRA is one of the only organizations that, yes, has a profit involved with it, but they are actually one of the few lobby groups that are actually fighting. Like, if any lobby group is fighting for an amendment, one of our rights, which is the Second Amendment. The other one's Big Pharma. What right are they fighting for?
Directly benefit
They're
them.
directly benefiting themselves in their pockets or for profit as a
NRA
corporation.
The NRA
So
defending the
we're
Second
literally
Amendment is
demanding.
like duh.
Yeah,
That's where they make their money.
And it's funny.
It's not funny.
It should
because
not be
you're
a negative.
acting like they're doing it as some kind of patriotic bullshit, and
It's not patriotic bullshit.
They're
They've been
defending it for their pockets for no other reason. If there was no money in guns, the NRA wouldn't exist.
The NRA still is doing. Okay, all right. Let's look at the history of why it's established.
All right.
Because you know what I'm telling you
So
right
yes.
now, and it
Tell
was
them to give up their money and see
guess
what
what
happens.
And they're still going to support. There's still people that are in the NRA that still support. It's made up of members
That's not what
too.
I'm saying. What I'm saying is they wouldn't have the power, influence. The money is what keeps them doing the things that they're doing. They get a lot of money.
Yes, they get money in donations. They actually ask. They send you a letter. Blah blah blah. Would you like to donate
So
to the
you're
NRA?
telling me that you're doing something good by defending our Second Amendment, and I'm telling you that's like Lincoln freeing the slaves. Yeah, he did it, but the reason he did it wasn't because you was some upstanding citizen. It benefited. It was the economic thing. So don't come to me and tell me, well, the NRA is the only ones defending our shit. Yeah, for themselves.
But guess what? They are still defending something that we all have the right to have, and we're demonizing that, which is crazy to me.
Ray had a point. I don't think it's about demonizing one way or another, because equally to that point, right, when a tragedy happens and people start attacking the guns, so to speak, right, the NRA does pass the buck a little bit as to why and what needs to be done and whatnot. Like, it fits both sides of the coin. Everyone has an agenda, and there are too many political figures trying to protect their agenda, right? And their mindset. That's the whole idea behind the lobbyists, right? They side with somebody who's going to protect them and their interests. So to what John was saying, when you take the lobbyists out in all their forms and factors, you can really have an election process that is more geared towards real issues and change, because there's no ulterior motive.
Right. It's for the people.
On the backside of that, though, right? John, you've said before you could be bought.
Goddamn right.
Right? So what happens if the NRA comes and offers you $100,000 to support a candidate?
Did I take an oath?
What do you mean?
Did I promise an oath to somebody to
No.
do the right thing or be a good person or anything?
They're simply
I'm
offering
taking
a
I don't give a fuck.
$100,000.
Yes, I'm.
You're gonna take the money, right?
But if I was a senator, ask me if I was a senator.
No.
I'm saying, ask me the same question.
No, I'm asking you that as a citizen of this country who is responsible for putting certain people in office. Like, you're asking you as a senator, to me, is irrelevant.
It matters.
It doesn't, though.
Because
I get
words
what you're
mean
saying,
something
Frank.
to me. You can say, if I cheat on my girlfriend, is it a
It
big...
should mean something to you as an
If I
individual.
cheat on my girlfriend, who gives a fuck? If I cheat on my wife, there's a give a fuck. I took an oath. There's a difference to me.
All right.
So you
Fair-
asking me the question,
fair-
yes, I would take the NRA for the
because
money
at
right
the,
now.
At the end of the day, as a voter, right, to put somebody in political office, to me, it's almost like taking a silent oath that you're gonna put the best person in power who you feel can help to lead this country.
Right.
So if the NRA is willing to give you $10,000, let's say you would do it for $10,000, right? And they pick 1,000
what,
people to vote for a candidate.
Oh,
for
I
a
thought
specific
you were
candidate.
just giving me money.
No, it's for the NRA.
Oh,
is going
for
to
a
buy
vote?
Your vote.
Oh no, they can't buy my vote.
All right, most people don't think like that, though. Most people can be bought. Like you said previously, you can be bought.
For certain things.
Right, but that same mentality does apply to other people.
But I have
right?
I have integrity.
So, for instance, my industry, right? There are groups that will come around and ask for my vote for certain candidates or certain movements, certain bills that are trying to be passed through legislations, right? It's no different than the NRA saying, "Hey, we'll give you $1,000 if you support this candidate on a low level." Right?
You need to start taking some fucking money, nigga.
Well, but that's,
To whoever.
That's a problem. So if you take lobbyists away to the candidates, what's to stop them from giving other people money? As on the individual side.
Well, you have laws that you can't take the money. That's the whole thing. If you are a candidate running for office,
I'm talking about to the people. So then you then have to put laws that the individual person, the individual citizen, not just a
I'm pretty
candidate
sure
for
that's
office.
also a crime now too. Like that, you can't do that. You can't just hand out money and say vote for me.
Why not?
I don't think that's legal. Somebody,
No, you
I don't
can't.
think that's
No,
legal.
you
you
can't.
can't do that.
You can't just blatantly buy
Yeah, you
votes.
can't do that. It's a crime.
Yeah,
Get
I don't
caught.
think you can.
All right. Well, that's the conversation.
Well, honestly, get caught.
You don't think this nigga got caught on a phone call, and it was an impeachment? You saying that you all of that shit is documented, bro. Every dollar. If you are a candidate running for office,
Ain't nobody ever here accepted cash.
bro. They again.
I'm just saying.
All the money,
Cash is king.
all the money.
You ain't
Trump got-
you've reported all the cash you've ever received on your taxes.
That's not what I'm saying. All the money Trump has,
I mean,
could he hide the phone call? Whether it was a perfect call or not, he couldn't hide it. You think that you're going to be able to just hand out money to citizens and enough citizens to make a difference in a voting booth, and nobody's going to pick up on it? All right. Nobody gonna say, "Yo, Mike Bloomberg just gave me." Go ahead and be stupid, Mike Bloomberg, and go to the Bronx and start handing out hundreds,
can't
and
help
think
but
that
wonder.
shit is not going to. Yo,
Listen.
my nigga, they giving the fucking $100 out on 138th. My nigga Mike Bloomberg out here handing it out.
if you
There's
got
no
some,
way
if you,
it's gonna
if you
happen.
got some randoms coming out here offering money, not claiming to be affiliated with any particular party or company, let's say, right? Going door to door, and all of a sudden that nigga gets caught. What's to stop Bloomberg from being like, I don't know who did that? How did he do that? I'm
gonna tell you
it's a
how, because you
stupid
can't get away,
hypothetical.
bro. You can't even. We can't even get our post on the internet.
Didn't Yang try to do that though? He started giving people that free money.
Yeah, but it wasn't campaign. It was like
It wasn't gonna be campaign money.
It was money. It was his money out of his own pocket.
Right.
like his
So
own-
wouldn't Bloomberg be able to do that?
No, because
it's money out of his
no.
own
It's
pocket.
the same reason why Trump almost got in trouble when he was running. It's because it can't. Your money, your personal money, can be campaign contributions, but it has to be separated.
So what did
So
Yang
your
do?
campaign contributions cannot be what
Right.
you
So
have in
what
your.
did Yang do?
He did not take money out of his campaign.
So that's what I'm saying. Why wouldn't that? Why would that
Why can't
hinder?
he just
exactly.
take his personal money and give it to
Exactly.
somebody?
He did take his personal money. It was not his campaign
That's my
contributions.
point. So what's to stop Bloomberg, not from his campaign contributions, what's to stop Bloomberg from just saying, you know what, I'm going to take this Billy right here and distribute it to whoever wants to vote for me. It's not it's his personal money.
Because it's a crime.
So why wouldn't? Why?
I don't know if it was.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was the same exact thing what you're saying, because I don't think he wasn't buying votes. It wasn't during.
No, it's not that he was buying votes. He was giving that.
What
that
if he was just like,
stipend, right?
here, you know what, I'm gonna help the people here. Come get your money.
I don't know. I don't have the details. I don't have the details of what Yang was doing, but what you're talking about is a crime and it's illegal and you can't do it.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure how it works, but I'm pretty
can't
sure
just go hand out
once
money.
you say you're running for office or you're going to be a public official, you can't just go
can't
do
just
that.
do that.
I think the rules change. I'm not exactly sure where it says it, but
So I got a question for you guys. Do you think who do you think is gonna win the Democratic nomination?
Bernie.
Bernard,
How about you, Fabian?
he knows.
I'm pretty sure it's Bernie.
Would you vote for Bernie, Fabian?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely
So
not.
now-
The only thing, but
So
check
you
this.
think Trump is better than
No,
Bernie?
no, but check this out. But you got to hear me out with this, because I actually, out of all the candidates, like especially last election, I would have preferred Bernie over Hillary getting a nomination.
But that's. Not
But
the
would
question
you
they
have
asked you.
voted
No.
for Bernie?
It's Trump.
Would you have voted for Bernie in 2016?
No, because his values don't align with mine. His status, his thoughts and views on the economy and what he wants to do in terms of bring more socialism into the country. He doesn't define as a socialist, but he does, but he doesn't. It's just it doesn't sit right with me.
So I have
So you,
But,
you think Trump is a better political leader than Bernie?
I think actually in terms of a political, what do you mean political leader though? Like define that.
President. You think he is a better representation
of the people
of the people than
or for the people?
Bernie.
A presidential, I believe Bernie would be better. He's more well spoken.
So
He's been
why
in the
wouldn't-
political climate. He knows
so
how
why
to talk
wouldn't
to people.
you vote for
Bernie in that. If you feel like he would be a better president.
He would be a better president because he's been groomed. He's been groomed as a politician, so he could talk well. He could present himself well. He'll think before he speaks. He'll think before he speaks.
Just drop missiles on Iran.
You know what I mean?
Generals.
So
that's like another thing to me though. Like we have a system of checks and balances, right? So
Yes.
even if you don't fully align with the president, but you feel like he could be a better president.
nobody's saying being a better president. I mean, a better president in terms of he's not going to go off the cuff and say dumb shit like Donald Trump does or whatever it is.
I mean,
but,
that's pretty significant.
Y'all want to hear something crazy?
not when it comes to freaking other things like your taxes, your lifestyle, Medicare, freaking your right to this, your right to that. There's a lot of other stuff that's more important. You could be an asshole, but if
But
you,
it's
but
not-
if but
it
if
doesn't have
you
to be right, but if it doesn't make it wrong either. That's why we get so caught up in that. Like our system is designed to check one and the other, right? Like you may not agree with the president. Like you didn't agree with a bunch of shit Obama did, right? But you relied on your other branches of government to kind of keep that nigga in check.
Which they did.
And I said nigga not because he was black.
It's fine. I get it.
So now we have Trump, and we're essentially, right, our government's supposed to be trying to keep him in check. They're more focused on trying to either keep him in or get him out of office, which is what bothers me about our current form of government, because you turn on the news and all you see is about either keeping him in or getting him out, not about whatever issues are actually going on that they're
What
trying
is
to
so
address.
great about him that everybody wants to keep him there?
What
What is so good?
Again,
tell me, it could
party,
be said
like,
about any.
really,
You could say that about any president.
But I'm asking specifically.
You could
about
say
him.
that
What
about
is it-
Obama.
What is it that Obama wasn't? Obama was a great for my self-esteem. The end. Okay.
Okay.
I saw somebody that looked like me that can reach that office. That is good for your self-esteem. I don't care what your policy or not. Something that's historic, that's never been done before. You can't.
If
I was going to vote for Mitt Romney if it was anybody else but Obama.
would you have voted for a black Republican then? At that time? Pre-Obama?
Black Republican versus black Democrat?
A black Republican
Versus
versus
white-
a white Democrat.
White Democrat at the time. But it depends. But it depends.
That is so confusing to me.
But I'm gonna tell you why
Oh,
because it depends if that black Democrat had the same policies and was talking the same shit that Mitt Romney was at that time, I'd have probably voted for them.
If it was
When it was Romney versus Obama,
So basically,
I wanted
he's saying,
Romney.
yes, he's saying he would have voted for a black Republican if that black Republican, and this is all hypothetical anyway, if that black Republican had the same values and ideals as Mitt Romney.
Right.
So a black Mitt Romney.
Right. I liked Mitt Romney as a Republican.
I'm super conflicted because
You're black and a
before-
Democrat, and you line up with my shit.
no,
And
what I'm saying is before you said that you voted with Obama because he was black. That's why you voted for Obama, right? He happened to be a Democrat that aligned with you as well. But part of that was irrelevant.
It was all right. When I say it was because he was black, it wasn't. It was because number one, he was black. I also like the shit he was talking.
Okay, right. But
I also like the shit Mitt Romney was talking. But
Before-
black was the tiebreaker.
amongst the Democrats, I get it.
Yeah.
But I guess my overall question though is, had there been a black Republican, would you have voted for the black Republican?
I maybe it depends. It probably if he was if represented the shit that I liked the most over some like if it was a black Republican.
I'm asking
Or
the question
Mike
because
Bloomberg.
I'm taking the whole he was black aspect and finding out what would it have been the same the other way?
Now we already had one. Now I'm not thirst for another black president.
Right, I'm
We-
saying
we
if
did-
it was the first.
He was half.
I'm saying we did.
Maybe that's
stop. He's not half black. Stop it.
Maybe that's why it's as easy for you to dismiss the idea and say that I almost think that you would have voted for a black Republican had there not been already Obama, because that thirst would have been different.
Well, yeah,
Right? It's like when you've never gotten some ass and then all of a sudden
Well,
you get
yes,
some ass.
the
So now
nigga could have
you
said
don't need it as
I was
much.
bringing back anything at that point.
I don't think so.
Nigga, we got one. You don't understand. as a black boy, I am never in my wild, and I'm sure never in y'all wildest dreams, would you ever think there was going to be an actual person of color as the highest office in here? As a little boy, it never crossed my mind. And don't lie to me, Fabian, and tell me that you thought that we was going to have a black president one day. You lying. It was not a thing for us.
No. It was eventually going to happen.
No, it wasn't. It happened in Fifth Element.
Because people of color. Yeah, that was a great movie. Because the people of color have constantly been growing in the ranks in terms of political power and political office in this country. So it's just a matter of time, just a matter of numbers and just years. It's going to eventually fucking happen.
So you thought at 13 years old, you looked into the statistics and the fucking likelihood that on a longer, you thought this. Is what you're telling me.
No, I'm just saying there's Latino and black senators, congressmen. Eventually, at one point, there was none. So eventually, over the years, they started growing, and eventually, that's the highest office. It's going to happen.
Right now, I can tell you, I don't think there'll ever be a Native American president. And that's not a fucking wild thing to say.
No, because I think, no, well, that's
and
it.
You could, right.
No, that's a little different because of the population and stuff like that.
But the blacks are less population than Hispanics.
Wait, but isn't Elizabeth Warren?
Stop.
On that note,
that was just like and on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that might be where it's time to cut it off. Ray's bringing up Elizabeth Warren possibly being Native
That bitch ain't know
American.
it.
I mean, she claimed it. No, all right. So real quick though, what do you guys foresee off of this hypothetical if Bernie were to win the presidency?
He crushes Trump.
No,
I said if he wins the presidency.
if he wins.
Not the
if he wins the presidency?
Not the nomination.
Yeah.
During the primaries, white America's going to strike back, and they're going to take back the House, and then they'll have the House and the Senate, and it'll be Obama again.
What?
Yeah,
Obama again.
That's how it was when Obama was in office.
He didn't have the power to do the things that he wanted
He
to
didn't
do.
have the House or the Senate, so the Republicans controlled that, so he couldn't do anything.
Right.
That the same way that Trump is having a hard time now because he doesn't have the House and the Senate.
Which is amazing because when he got into office, he had the House and the Senate and he couldn't get anything done, which is amazing. Couldn't get the wall money passed. How? You had the House and the Senate.
The checks and
Well, you know what?
balances.
The shit happens. When
fucking wall.
when stuff comes in, when you become president, you go there. I'm telling you right now, it's all. We all see shit from the outside, whether it's Obama or freaking Trump or whatever it is.
Had 2 years.
You go
with the
into
House and the
office.
Senate.
This is your primary focus
He
of
had
what I campaign on,
2
and then you come in and be like, "Holy shit, this is more
Fabian,
fucked up than it
you
is."
got a big
Damn, I
wingspan,
got
dude.
some more problems I got to figure out here. I thought I was talking about the wall. I was talking
Fabian,
about
he got
lunches
2
and education. Shit, I got a lot more shit to
Fabian.
worry about than what I thought I was going to be
Fabian,
campaigning about. Was
Stop
more
beating my
important.
table
Real
up,
quick,
bro.
he had 2 years with the House and the Senate with Paul Ryan as the fucking Speaker of the House and Mitch McConnell as fucking majority leader in the Senate, and he got nothing. He couldn't even get his wall money when he had all his people on his side. Matter of fact, speaking of wall money, right? Since we think that he's such a good president,
No,
we wanna vote
who's
for nobody
talking about-
else. Real quick, how much of
Fucking
that
wall money.
I'm
Listen,
just asking,
I'm
how
talking
much of the wall has been built?
You made a comment about people. Yo, I cannot believe this shit. You were literally
Stop it, my head,
talking.
so I gotta
You
say
were
it before
talking.
you
No, because you're talking about irrelevant shit. I'm talking about priorities.
Yes, up on completely other shit. Though, look at it.
Exactly, because you got 2 years, right? You said, 2 years didn't get anything done, or no, he did get shit done, but just not a lot of the shit that he campaigned on. Because you know what? When you come into office, I'm thinking in this fucking scope, this is what I want to focus on. And then you get there and everybody's like, then you have your cabinet members, you have the secretary of this, secretary of that, and they come in and they're like, yo, we got a lot more than what you just really campaigned on. Oh shit.
Okay.
I got a lot of different stuff to fucking focus on and work on.
Conversation, please.
Yeah.
Man.
He's throwing stuff. His waves is all over the place. This is just gonna sound like white noise when we go back.
I'm ready to die on the cross for him.
Dang.
Hell no. Nobody.
I want to give my final thought to this
You gonna
situation.
add to that, to what happens
no,
if Bernie wins?
no. I don't know. 'Cause I don't think Bernie's gonna win. But I want to leave it at this because we gotta wrap this up.
Yeah.
Fabian needs to go outside where it's cool and relax.
Facts.
I'm gonna leave it at this for me. Where millennials are looked at as uneducated in this in politics. Trump being in office never made politics more relevant to me. John, you posed a question of if we ever thought about a black or a minority person being in the highest power. I never thought about it before because I was not politically aware enough to care.
Today, I feel like I am, and I think millennials largely are. I, though, strongly agree with Ray that we need to stop being party-based and start being principle-based, that we need to start really looking at what's important to us, no matter who's running, whether it's Trump and Bernie, Trump and Warren, whoever our candidates are. We need to be educated on what platforms they're running on and what's important to us and choose accordingly. You're not going to have the perfect candidate ever, because especially if we continue with this current system.
That's right.
Right, of going based solely on party. So until we can break that cycle, we need to be smart, which I think is what Ray was alluding to. I don't know. John, you got anything left that's not going to piss off Fabian?
Nah. I'll piggyback off what you were saying. It's really important to be informed, to not go off of memes and clips that you see on the internet, but actually watch the whole interview, watch the whole debate, watch the whole trial, watch all of these things and come to your own conclusions, because that's the only way you're ever going to get a clear picture of where you want to go as far as your vote.
Right?
Yep. I think Biden said he's running for Senate now. I don't know, man.
What a douche.
I feel a little sad for Biden.
Maybe you got anything left? Oh wait, I'm sorry.
No,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
Just continue doing your research and properly vote. That's it.
Babe?
Yeah, I have to agree with all that and actually piggyback off of John. Do your research, look into things. Don't let the media and whether it's conservative news outlets, conservative talk radio, or left-wing news outlets and talk radio, whatever it is, don't let the media basically deter you from actually voting for what's in your best interest, and especially, your rights as an American citizen. I think that's very important. A lot of people getting it confused and want to get it twisted. All our rights, free speech, you name it, all of them are the ones that we that we're all supposed to be a part of, whether you're Democrat or Republican. And I think actually people should stop trying to say this is one side and this is the other, because it's all of us.
Yeah.
Very nice, sir.
Yeah, I think that goes for religious leaders too. That's your vote. Cherish that thing, man. That's your way of speaking up, and making sure things go accordingly based on what you believe in and who can represent you the most. Don't let anybody tell you who to vote for. Like, let them they can say whatever it is they want, but that's your decision in the final, in the booth.
All right. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I'm Frank, a.k.a. PJ, here with John.
Abolish the 13th Amendment.
Ray.
Happy voting.
Fabian.
Oh, man, I wanted to say something, but you know what? Everybody have a nice night.
Once again, this episode was brought to you by Empanada Master. Remember to check them out at
Ya tu
empanadamaster.com
sabe.
to find out where they're going to be for all the events that they appear up at. Check them out for catering, some delicious ass shit. Remember, we are all alphas at something. Peace.